Welcome to World at Work TV. I'm Allison Avalos, and I'm joined today by Michelle Bergman and David Gunn of the Walt Disney Company. And we're talking about a recent initiative that they took on to increase the global consistency in their employee experience. Can you first talk a little bit about what you undertook?
It was probably about 5 or 6 years ago. We recognized a need to be talking to our employees and our cast members around the world about the value of working at the Walt Disney Company. And we were doing that in a way that was different in each of our businesses, different in each of our countries. So we started to work as a human resources team across our businesses, across the world, to determine what is the value of working at the company, both financially, quantitatively, qualitatively, and then how do we start to tell that story.
So what were some of the steps to developing that new strategy?
We first spent over a year really talking to many of our employees, many of our leaders in human resources, and certainly the majority outside of human resources, about what is that value, what is important to them. How do people think about the value of working at the company? How do people think about the benefit portfolio that we have, their careers, their learning experiences? So we started by going out and spending literally 12 to 15 months talking to our consumers.
So what were some of the challenges that you encountered?
We needed to get all of our businesses thinking in terms of the Walt Disney Company as well as their own segments. And we also wanted to talk to our employees the way we talk to our consumers and our guests. So we needed to work with our partners in brand management to figure out how do we incorporate our intellectual property in a very natural way that would also be exciting and engaging for our employee population.
So Michelle, what are some of the components or elements to achieving this consistency globally within your organization?
It takes a tremendous amount of collaboration and a lot of discussion among all of the different parties who will be involved and impacted by these decisions. So we work very closely with all of our business segments to talk about what's going to be most relevant and resonant for their employees. We work with our brand management team to understand what's going to be most natural fit when we decide to start using our intellectual property. We have to talk to people involved in our technology and digital systems to understand what our capabilities are and what might need to be invented or thought of in terms of making this reality come to life.
So in terms of those elements, can you kind of characterize some of the types of the places that employees would interact or receive information? How did that look different? I imagine, there's an online presence, but how did that look differently before versus after?
Well, certainly the pervasiveness of technology has changed how we have interacted and communicated with our employees. So it's actually, we've grown our portfolio. So instead of simply having paper products like posters or flyers, we figured out how to incorporate more digital elements, how to incorporate more television-like elements into our employee communications and touch points.
And then I understand the design of those elements. There is a now more broad consistency there in terms of achieving that level of consumer-grade experience that Walt Disney Company is known for, correct?
We actually work very closely with our consumer marketing teams to understand how they reach out to our consumers so that we can emulate that when it comes to communicating with our employees. And then what we do is come up with a campaign that does have a cohesive look and feel, but can be customized per business unit to provide some flexibility and choice for all of our business segments.
So now let's talk about the results of this initiative. How does it look now?
We've invested, as Michelle said, a number of years. So we're about 5 to 6 years into this. And what's been good for us is that we've had data along the 5 to 6 years, getting a voice from our employees who are our consumers. And what they've been telling us is they have a better understanding of their pay, they have a better understanding of what comprises their pay, as well as their performance related to that pay. So that's been a big win for us. They've also talked about their knowledge and understanding and ultimately their adoption of our benefits programs. So we do a good amount around pursuing health, and it's more than just the portfolio of benefits that you enroll during open enrollment, but more around maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and we see good adoption associated with those aspects. We also feel good about the information from our employees, what they're telling us about wanting more, even more, related to their learning, their career, and the full portfolio of total rewards and the holistic focus of the employee experience. So we've done some things really well, and we've gotten some feedback around what we need to continue to do well and place further emphasis moving forward.
So So all organizations are unique, and the Walt Disney Company is no exception to that. But are there elements or tips that you would offer to other organizations who might be taking on a similar effort or seeing the same types of gaps that you were seeing in your employee experience?
I would say you have to be very true to yourself as a company and your culture. There's a reason your employees are there, and in order to tap into what their beliefs are as well as yours as a company, to find what's really authentic for you and your employee population.
Thank you both for sharing. For World at Work TV, I'm Allison Avalos.